if you know this channel, you know that I like to draw portraits, and I really like using watercolors. Gouache is kind of watercolors and acrylic paint, something between those two. So I got a bunch of them, and we're gonna try them out. So I have my reference ready, so let's just go and sketch it out. Guys, just listen to this ASMR for a second. Since it is my first time, do not expect a masterpiece. Thank you. Seriously though, do not expect anything amazing out of this. Not only did I mess up the sketch, but it's the first time trying out gouache. Unless if you just didn't notice yet. So I messed up the sketch that looks quite unhuman, so I'm sorry for that. But then the gouache kind of fixes it up. I also stupidly picked a 3/4 view side profile. So side profile, 3/4 view profile. So yeah, that was kind of dumb of me because it's one of the hardest angles to draw, you know. I also picked a reference, so this is a good thing though, that it had like studio lighting, so it was so the person was lit up with yellow, red and blue, so I could actually use colors in the colors.
In the beginning.
I could actually use colored gouache, not just brown, black and white. So yeah, so I'm just probably gonna skip to when the sketch is done because this is gonna take a while, and I don't want you to watch me suffer and fail at the same time. This is probably as close to the reference as I'm going to get, and now I'm going to prepare all the gouache. So I've got all my colors nice and ready, and now let's go. Oh, I'm so nervous. So you're supposed to start with the darkest color, which is black, but I don't want to put black, like pure black, so I'm going to mix the black with some brown. I also have these really good brushes that like already have water inside of this, so you just need to squeeze a little bit and water comes out. So I love the application. It was like so smooth, it was like watercolors but much like fuller color, so you didn't need to put as much on. And if you wanted it to be a little bit more watery, then you just added extra water. Okay, so far it's going on really well. I did some research before using this because, you know, can't start something completely new without researching about it. And I found out that you can actually layer them quite well, so I hope that this kind layers well as well, otherwise I just messed up my whole painting. I just mixed myself a special tone of red, and this kept happening. It kept like sliding, so I kept having to fix it, and it kept just falling non-stop. But now I'm going in with the red. I am so like happy about the way that it just like looks on the paper, because it's just like bright red. As watercolors don't do that, they get like a little splotchy, you know. So it didn't layer as well as I wanted it to, or hoped it would, but it was really good still. So I just continued putting down the base layer of the red everywhere where red was, because, you know, that's what you do when it's the main color. It's sometimes like mixed up with the brown because I didn't let the brown set yet. So yeah, and then when I added too much water, it got really watery and kind of like bubbled. But that made it easier to like fill in bigger areas, because then the bubbles were like painting and they were big, so, you know, I just filled up the area fast. I then started on the hair and put some highlights on from where the red light was coming up from, and then I continued on the yellow color. The yellow got a little bit mixed with the red from before, but that didn't really matter because it was still good enough of a yellow for the reference. So I started adding it in. The yellow light was coming from the front, like to the person's forehead, so basically the highlights that would normally be just very light were now yellow. Which this also really helped with lighting, because I kind of like you really practice on where what goes because the lights were coming from different directions, obviously. The yellow was good at covering, not as good as the red because it was lighter, that it didn't go over the brown as much. So I sadly couldn't get over the brown with the yellow. And then I started mixing up my lovely blue. Okay, so I got the blue ready and started filling in the blue areas. The blue light was shining from the bottom, so it was mainly the bottom parts of the face, and then the right underneath the eyebrows, because that's where it kind of goes inside, so the shadows usually are there, but the shadows are kind of like replaced by the blue in this reference. I also added it into the hair because the hair kind of somehow got some of it as well. I think it was just from the bottom, you know. I started shading the ear with some brown, and just at this stage I wasn't just doing the blue, I was just kind of like doing everything at once. I mixed up another shade of blue because I needed a darker tone, like a little bit of it, to make the darker areas of the blue, because the light has darker areas even though it's full on light. So I finished off the chin and the lips, and then moved on to the neck. This was actually fun because I love blue, so I could just like experiment with the blue a little bit. I find necks really fun to like draw and shade because it's just kind of like really interesting. Oh, and there's my head. My head just popped in there. Yeah, sorry. I just hate, my hair's disgusting. So sorry for that. I use my fingers for blending, yes. Do not judge me. And now I realized, oh, I'm almost done, except for the eyes, you know, because, yeah, I forgot the eyes. And here's the really stupid thing I did. I put some color into the eyes, and then filled in the irises. What happens? It bleeds through. Just watch it slowly bleed and cover the eyes in blackness. It's wonderful, isn't it? Yeah. Well, this is it. I hope you like it. Yeah. This is probably as good as I can get it. It's okay. Gouache is okay. I just expected it to layer a little bit better. I did not wait for it to dry for the eyes, so they bled through. Don't mind that. Otherwise, it is kind of similar to the reference, and I hope you enjoyed it. I will definitely be using gouache, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!